Hello and welcome to the long-awaited Vex Clock developer commentary. I was intending to have this uploaded like a week after the game's 1-year anniversary, but a bunch of stuff happened and it ended up getting pushed back a bit. But here we are now. The video is mostly just going to be showing older footage of the game dating back to early to late 2022, when the game's development pretty much started, to when it just shifted gears completely, being rewritten and doubled in size and all that good stuff. So Vex Clock first started as an FTL-style roguelike game with some Miitopia inspirations for its bonding system. Some of these elements remained in the final game, with the way the map screen was laid out and the character bonding that shaped the ending of the game, with the roguelike elements being completely scrapped early on. There would have been dialogue at the start of each chapter in the map screen, and the cutscenes would have been cut down quite significantly than what appeared in the final game. You would have started out on your own as Keith and found each party member along the way, just randomly throughout chapters 1 through 2. The game would have had a live system where if you got a game over on a stage, that character you were playing as would be dead for good. This would impact party morale, and if a character was developing a relationship with some other character and that character died, it would just cause major debuffs for the party. The story remained relatively similar in structure, but the characters were very different from their final versions. Emmeline would have been just pure evil, she would be irredeemable, she would have been crowned basically the Queen of Vex Clock towards the end of the story, but this would be like the coronation when you would all show up and stop her and effectively, preventing her from being Queen of Vex Clock. There was no sparing her, the whole party, including Rosa, just wanted her dead. And Keith would have been, a bit more heartless. Lillian would have been, relatively the same. She didn't change too much. Chloe would have been a bit more stoic, which I personally don't like. And I'm glad I changed that. Rosa, she would have been relatively the same, but she'd have no empathy for Emmeline. And Katrina, instead of being secretly forced into being an assassin for these nobles that just kidnapped her when she was young, she would have just been a civilian who joined your cause. There was originally going to be this whole inventory system for the players to interact with, like allowing you to swap main weapons, having offhand items, and other stuff like that, giving the player more customization, having some RPG elements to the game. This, of course, got scrapped. As you can tell, the concept for this game was very different than what we got in the end, and I'm honestly very happy with the final product, just kind of gutting a lot of these bloat mechanics and just focusing purely on the story, the main gameplay formula, and it feels just way more coherent. I love how it turned out now in the final version of the game. Another thing I also personally just noticed, just going off script, the characters, they were more edgy in this older version of the game. I'm glad I toned that down a bit. I did keep some of it in the current version just because I wanted to keep that PS2 edge feel. A lot of PlayStation 2 games back then, they kind of, they were a bit edgy. I loved that, and I kind of wanted that in this game. That's why some of that stuck. But yeah, in general, just the story and the dialogue and everything was a complete mess. I just rewrote it from scratch as the end of 22 came around. And yeah, to tell you the truth, like the first 3 chapters, they were completed by the fall of 2022. I genuinely expected the game to have been finished within another half a year, and it's why y'all probably saw like the release date change completely from early 2023 to 2024, and then eventually February 21st to 2025. And those are all the cutscenes that varied differently from the final version, because the rest of the game, I would say, is relatively similar to the final version. Thank you for listening and watching this fun little video. It was way shorter than I intended. The original version of the video was going to be like 17 minutes long. I kind of just re-recorded it with a shorter script just to kind of condense it down because I just was kind of rambling, which I am now doing. Hey! But yeah, I hope you learned some new stuff. I am very embarrassed by the footage you'll have to see of this game's early development. It was cringe, it was bad, and I wasn't very happy with it. But you know, things start somewhere and eventually they mold into something better. Yay! So yeah, that's a wrap anyway. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I'm gonna go eat. No, I'm not gonna eat food this time. I ate food! Holy crap, dude! I ate food! Normally in a video that I do, I'm like, oh, you know, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go eat food now. I'm gonna go on a food tangent or food rant or whatever. Hey, I ate food! I ate food this time before recording the video! Oh, dude, no way. That's so crazy. I actually ate food this time. Wow. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go now. I gotta get to work. Thank you anyway for watching this little developer commentary. Bye.